Coming up on Sunday Sports Day, ready, aim, fire.
Time to rock and roll, baby.
Tempers flare as the NBA playoffs heat up. Dennis the Menace is on the prowl, and a Hawk Heat free-for-all gets everyone involved. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Do or die in Game 7s on ice. Detroit goes shark hunting while the Canucks and Flames work overtime one more time. The Diamond turned rough, too, after Derek's bell was rung. And Evander Holyfield has hurt his last bell in the ring. It makes you wonder what's going on. But don't worry, just grab all your friends and join us, because it can't get any uglier than this.
Sports Weekly is presented by Delta Airlines.
And good morning, I'm Chris Fowler. Welcome to a shortened Sports Center due to the length of a very somber San Marino Grand Prix. And we will continue to update the condition of Ayrton Senna when the hospital in Bologna releases further information. Meanwhile, it was a feisty night on the diamond, ice, and hardwood. Remember the good old days when elbows to the face, body checks, and bench-clearing melees were regular features of the pucks playoffs? These days, the NHL has cured its brawling epidemic, but the NBA is having problems, at least judging by the first half of the first round. It got ugly last night as Miami tried to steal a 2-zip lead over the top-seeded Hawks in Atlanta. The series was 1-1, and the good time feelings would go away once this game got underway. Danny Manning, strong play against Glenn Rice in the post here. He had 20 points. The Heat hanging tough here. Off the Rice miss, Baby Jordan, Harold Miner, who played a lot, with the dunk. Heat down just 6 in the third quarter. The Plastic Man rejected by Spider Sally. Grant Long grabs the ball to Brian Shaw to Steve Smith, who fakes. Then it's the jumper. Smith led the Heat with 24 points. Hawks still led, but only by a half dozen. Then the ugliness, the baseline here. Sally running through Craig Elo. Smith would miss the ugly shot. And Sally gets up to shoot. He is absolutely mauled by Danny Manning. They call that a hard foul. Sally gets up, wants a piece of somebody, and Kevin Willis is right there. They start jawing. A couple of trips down the floor later, Elo misses. Dwayne Farrell just throws Rice out of the way, grabs the ball. The hard foul by Grant Long. There's some taunting, and then all heck breaks loose. Coaches on the floor. This would go on, breaking out throughout the floor as players violated the NBA rule against coming off the bench right here. Keith Askins right there on the right side, the cheap shot. Doug Edwards, the recipient, he throws the big right hand. Both of those guys could be in some trouble. The officials confer. Askins, Edwards, and Grant Long were ejected. The Heat just not able to respond after the brawl. Atlanta kept its composure a lot better. A 5-zip run right after the melee. Elo knocking down the 3. Lots of empty seats on the bench after this one. The series 1-1 heading to Miami. Farrell had 23 points, 10 of them after he was choked by Long in that brawl. The Heat assistant coach, Alvin Gentry, he broke his hand and his finger as he tried to break up the fight. Grant Long said his team will not back down if the ugliness continues. Kevin Willis says ditto for his team.
This really blew up tonight, and it happens. And through the course of a season or playoff, the intensity of this level is so high. It's bound to happen tonight. And we hope it doesn't happen again, but we don't back down. We're not going to back down from any team.
I think the message is that we're here to play, and we're going to play our game, and we're not going to let you pull us out of it.
Here's the scorecard. More action than Moore Holyfield. 6 technicals, 3 flagrant fouls, 3 ejections. Now, the league enforcer, Rod Thorne, attended the game, then went straight to the TV truck to review the tapes for possible fines and suspensions. Very interesting to see who gets tossed for future games besides Askins and Edwards, if anyone. In Seattle, Sonics gunning for a 2-zip lead over Denver. Everyone taking it to the hole, including Sasquatch there. First quarter, Sean Kemp, the board and the dunk on LaFonso Ellis and Mutombo. And Gary Payton picks up the loose ball. The acrobatic no-look lay-in. Ricky Pierce blows by Robert Pack. Up among the trees with the lay-in off the glass. Nuggets, their own worst enemy, down 13 at halftime. Guys, somebody else, same team. Nuggets would get hot later. Rodney Rogers gets the 3 to fall. He had 17, including 4 threes. Nuggets within a half dozen. Then the Sonics would pull away. Pierce, the tough hoop and the foul. He had a dozen. The exclamation point. Peyton, loose ball, and then gets the layup on the other end. Peyton, 18 points, 4 assists, 2 steals. George Karl's team wins it by 10. They head back to Denver with a 2-zip lead for tomorrow's potential clincher. They survive poor free throw shooting, just 27 of 42. Now, Mutombo was released from the hospital last night after treatment for a throat contusion. He should be okay to start Game 3. Pucks now. The goal of the 8th-seeded San Jose Sharks has simply been, stated by Archie Urbe, shock hockey world. Urbe's just a pup. He only needs to ask teammate Sergei Makarov about miracles on ice. The Shark sniper was wearing the red CCCP sweater when Team USA shocked the world in Lake Placid. After that 7-1 pasting in Game 6, the upstart Sharks tried to regroup for Game 7, complete the monster upset. 47 seconds in, Igor Larionov to Johan Garpenlov. Maybe they overpassed, but it worked. 1-zip. Then Slava Kozlov on the breakaway. Urbe, the split for the beautiful save. Scotty Bowman, speechless about the goaltending from young Urbe. Then Sergei Fedorov getting frustrated. The stick to the head of Jason Moore. Double minor was called, but not Moore. Maybe he got off easy. 2-1, Sharks up by 1. Konstantinov, the shot. Kozlov, the spinning backhander. Chris Osgood, not sharp. Arthur Zerbe was sharp. 13:25 of the third. Jamie Baker, the shot from the left side as Osgood could not clear the zone off the boards. Osgood caught out of position. He was very hard on himself, the 21-year-old, after the loss. The Sharks, the first club in 19 years since the 75 Isles to win their first ever playoff series. They open round 2 in Toronto. Tomorrow night, Urbe had 28 saves, but the flukish goal decides it. How many times do you see that in a 7-game series? For the second straight year, the Wings total 100 points in the regular season, then get stunned in the first round. The Central/Norris Division winner, as you can see, has had problems in recent years in the playoffs. Another Game 7 thriller, Canucks and Calgary. Flames 3-2 in the third, less than 4 minutes to go. Pavel Bure to Greg Adams, who takes it to the goal, his second of the playoffs. Seconds later, Canucks on the attack. The drop pass, Cliff Ronning skates in. Kevin Dahl sacrifices his body to block the shot. We're going to overtime. Flames trying to end it. Fleury to Robert Reichel. Kirk McLean, the incredible pad save. Later on, Mike Vernon rises to the occasion. Nathan Lafayette's shot is smothered right there. We go to a second overtime. Early on, Jeff Brown threads the needle to Bure. Scoreless in the first 4 games of the series. He responds with 2 goals last night. He comes up huge as the Canucks come back from 3-1 down with 3 straight overtime games. 2 years ago, they beat the Jets after trailing 3-1. They now get Dallas in the Western semis starting tomorrow. So both road teams win Game 7s last night. Well, where are they now, the critics of Lee Smith, who pronounced him done years ago? Then again, even those who stood by the effective but sometimes frustrating closer have to be stunned right now by his rebirth in Baltimore. Perfection this season, 12 saves and 12 chances. Last night in Seattle, the O's and M's as the incredible April continued for Mr. Smith. But early on, top of the first, Jeffrey Hammond's at second. Cal Ripken, the base hit, testing the arm of Jay Buhner, comes up gunning. He is meat at the plate as Bill Hasselman hangs on in the fourth. Brady Anderson, intimidated by the high pitch? I don't think so. The next pitch, 3-run double to left against Randy Johnson. O's take a 3-zip lead. Anderson's next at bat. Now it's hit by a breaking ball inside. Words between them as Johnson goes to first. The bench is cleared. Nobody ejected. And the Orioles win it by a score of 6-4. The major league record for Smith, 12 saves in April. He's 12 for 12. He's saved all but 3 of the O's wins. Johnson, 11 Ks in the loss. The 40th time in his career he's had a 10-plus K outing. In Anaheim, Roger Clemens, speaking of Ks, going for the Red Sox. Mark Leiter there for the Angels. Top of the first. 1 on, and Mo Vaughn is plunked in the back. You don't mess with Big Mo. The stare, that would get Clemens fired up. Sox led 2-1 in the second. Chili Davis, who's been hot, drilled by Clemens on the retaliation. Bottom of the 7th, Sox had a 4-1 lead. Davis up again, and there's more revenge. The called third strike. He argues he is tossed. And Boston would hold on for the 4-1 victory. There's a big base hit. And Roger Clemens, or the nice dig by Vaughn, who after getting plunked had a nice ball game. 4-1 Boston. Clemens, a 4-hitter through 8 with 8 Ks and only 1 walk. Red Sox best April in club history, 17-7. The Angels, the worst April ever, 9-16. Well, as you may have seen this morning on ESPN, a week of tragedy in Formula One racing culminated in a violent, messy San Marino Grand Prix. Austrian rookie Roland Ratzenberger was killed during qualifying yesterday, F1's first fatality in a dozen years. And then this morning, the violence continued on this track. This is the view from Michael Schumacher's car. Ayrton Senna has mechanical problems. He goes crashing into the wall. One of the fastest parts of the track, 155 miles per hour. Senna motionless in his car for quite some time after this crash. It took a while for medical officials to get there. Eventually, he was airlifted to a hospital in Bologna. Latest word, he has massive head injuries and is in a coma. When all is said and done, Michael Schumacher gets the victory. Third straight win for the Benetton team. Lorini is second. But again, the most important story to come out of this, the condition of the 3-time world champion Ayrton Senna. 41 career wins. This was his 65th career pole position. He has been second in the world in driving 2 other times. His duels with Alain Prost have dominated Formula One in recent years. We will continue to update his condition. Again, Ayrton Senna is said to be in a coma with head injuries. We are just getting started here. MTV has 120 minutes. We have normally 180 minutes, a little bit shorter this morning. Later, we'll pay homage to the underappreciated Evander Holyfield. And more hoops highlights, including a San Antonio dry spell for the ages and more rough stuff in this feisty series with Utah.
Sports Weekly is presented by Delta Airlines. You'll love the way we fly. And brought to you in part by new Easy Deck Wash from Armorall. We took the knowledge of Armorall and applied it to your home.
They speak it in England, France, and Germany. It sounds the same in the U.S. and Mexico as it does in Hong Kong and Tokyo. It's the international language of business. And wherever it's spoken, Delta Airlines can put you right in the middle of the conversation. And then we'll bring you back to that place where you don't have to say a word to be understood. Delta Airlines.
Staying ahead of the game. It's what we all strive to do. Whether we're building our lives, building our futures, or building trucks. At Ford, staying ahead means the most powerful diesel pickup engine ever. The new Power Stroke Turbo Diesel. It means giving you the comfort of a new standard airbag. And it means realizing it's the hard work that offers the sweetest rewards. Ford F-Series, the best never rest.
As your engine revs higher, the oil inside creates a hydrodynamic wedge, a protective layer that builds up and keeps engine parts separated. But as your oil's viscosity breaks down, so can the wedge. That's why Castrol GTX provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. Because if your viscosity breaks down, what's next? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars. Try Castrol Super Clean for tough, greasy jobs. If it won't come clean with Super Clean, it won't come clean.
Man is a social animal. Man is made to live with others. So, the club is a whole series of human adventures, working toward a better way of living. We all like what is beautiful. We all love what is true. I've become completely attached to the American Express card. It gives you freedom, and heaven knows what that's worth at the present time.
American Express is welcomed at Club Med and anywhere else people go to find themselves.
Sports Weekly is presented by Delta Airlines. You'll love the way we fly.
Whether it's horse in the driveway or Nerf basketball in the basement, it's difficult to miss 25 consecutive shots. You almost have to try. Well, that kind of epic drought completely changed the course of the Spurs-Jazz game 2 and possibly the entire series as they head back to Utah now.
Time to rock and roll, baby.
Well, there wasn't enough rocking and rolling for the Spurs in a couple of quarters. Look at Dennis Rodman undercut Chambers. A foul was not called. Chambers went nuts. He got the technical. Then the two get tangled. They trade blows. Chambers thrown to the floor. Chambers get tossed. Rodman stays in the game, at least for now. Finally to the game. The Spurs, dismal shooting. Everybody off in the second and third quarter. The Spurs missed 25 consecutive shots. Jay Humphries, the Colorado guy, would get off the Spurs bench and take control over Ellis. And then the three-pointer. Jay moving in. Humphries outscored the Spurs in the second quarter, 12-9. Jazz led by 17 at the break. Third quarter, down by 19. David Robinson comes up lame. He sprained his right knee. He did return, but was not a major factor in the game. San Antonio still off in the second half. Rodman couldn't get the follow. The Spurs, that 16-minute drought, just buried them in the fourth quarter. Rodman then trips John Stockton. Finally, they'd seen enough. Stockton would leave the game. Rodman got tossed, and the Jazz win it by a dozen. The final margin misleadingly close. The Spurs break five league records for futility. They shoot 15% in the middle two quarters combined. The Mailmen had 23 points. Now to Indiana and Orlando. Shaq struggling. After they had dropped the first game of the series, Orlando watches Shaq go to the bench in foul trouble. Reggie Miller then hits the runner. Then off the screen, buries the three. Pacers up 7 after 3. Shaq continuing to struggle, missing from a foot away. Magic do chip away at the lead thanks to Penny Hardaway with the drive and the dunk. Now final minute. 33 seconds to go. Dennis Scott, scoreless early, comes off the bench, hits the second of his 2 huge threes. Watch this. Keith Blake, the shot clock in the left corner. Still time left when the Pacers attempt the shot, but the referees stop the play, stop the Magic fast break because they call it a shot clock violation. Hill cannot believe it. So one final chance after a timeout. The wild runner does not go, and Larry Brown's team steals another win in Orlando. They take a 2-zip lead home for tomorrow's potential clincher. Reggie Miller had 32. Shaq a season-low 15. Only 8 field goal attempts in 36 minutes. The Magic do hit a playoff record 11 threes, but they are in deep trouble. It's not like coming back against the Lakers last year. Now, our playoff analyst, Dr. Jack Ramsey, joins us from Miami. Jack, you call the Heat games. You were there for the Atlanta-Miami brawl last night. How is this going to affect the rest of the series? The Heat did not seem to respond well last night. What about Game 3?
Well, the air seemed to go out of the Heat after that melee. But the Heat will come back going to the home court now. I think the officials have to call the games closer, Chris. They are not getting on top of plays. There's a lot of physical contact, and that's what escalates into that free-for-all kind of situation.
As far as the on-the-court play, Atlanta's defense, how are they controlling the tempo? How do they do a better job in Game 2 than they did in Game 1? Can they keep that up?
Well, the Heat have to really take care of the ball, limit their turnovers, get into their offense, and get quality shots. It's not so much that they're turning the ball over excessively, but they have to get better quality shots, especially for Glenn Rice. He's a big factor in this game.
All right, now to the Pacers and Magic series. A lot made coming in of the lack of playoff experience for the Magic. Indiana has been through the wars, and so far doing a great job of containing Shaquille O'Neal. As I said, the season-low 15 points yesterday.
Post guys are going to get double-teamed, and it's essential that when they have opportunities, one-on-one, they take their man. Look at Shaq. He's got the ball now. The double team is not there. He's got to take that to the hoop. Instead, he throws it out. There's a missed 3, and now the Pacers are off into their transition game. I think Shaq, once he gets it, has to assess where the defense is, and when he can take it to the basket, he's got to take it there immediately. He's got to have more than 8 shots. Penny Hardaway with a super game, but you've got to get more from Shaq if you're going to win.
Indiana, obviously a very, very dangerous sleeper team. Many may think that Utah's a sleeper team out west after taking the game in San Antonio. Talk about the complete turnaround for the Jazz and what was another feisty physical game yesterday.
Well, John Stockton is the key to Utah's success. 1 out of 4 in Game 1, not really in the flow at all. Yesterday, much more effective, and his ability to penetrate and dish like he does there for Felton Spencer. And this, the repeated offensive board opportunities for Utah, those were the 2 factors. Jay Humphries with a terrific game off the bench.
All right, Jack, the top seed out west, Seattle, they don't seem to have a lot of believers nationally, and I wonder why. Here's a team that was one game away from getting to the finals last year, had the best record in the regular season. They seem to have depth and defense and home court, 3 key playoff ingredients. Why don't more people believe the Sonics are going to win the title?
Well, when I watched their first game, Chris, they made a believer out of me. If they can play, and remember, they have the home court throughout the playoffs, a potential for 15 home court appearances if each series went to the limit. If they play at that level that they did in game 1, that defense was suffocating. If they can play at that level 15 times, nobody's going to beat them.
They, like a lot of teams, are not quite the same as home, but they don't have to win a road game to win the NBA title.
Yeah, exactly. But I suspect they're going to lose a game at home. They're going to have to prove themselves on the road. I suspect Denver is going to win a game, but Denver can't beat Seattle in this series. Somebody will beat Seattle on their home floor, and then Seattle's going to get tested on the road.
All right, Jack, thanks. Stick around. We'll talk to you later on this morning on SportsCenter about today's NBA playoff games. And coming up later on Sunday Sports Day, athletes and guns. Many athletes feel their security is now threatened. They are now packing firearms. And also more from the ballparks. Imagine what Joe Carter's record-setting April would have been if he didn't break his thumb. What can you do when the league is hitting better than .330 against your staff and your team ERA is above 7 and surrendered double digits 10 times? Well, you can score in double digits yourself when the Twins had better get used to the idea. Yesterday, another wild run with the Jays in the Homer Dome. Top 4, Jim DeShays facing that man again, Joe Carter. Forget about it. A solo shot, number 9, his 31st RBI. Adds to his major league record. Bottom 4 now, tied at 4. Dave Stewart's in trouble. Kirby Puckett, base hit up the middle. Chuck Knobloch scores a 5-run 4th. The Twins go up 9-4. Bottom of the inning, Puckett again the base hit. Alex Cole chugging around. Kirby has 26 RBI in April. That's a Twins record. They win it 11-9. See, they have to score in double digits themselves. Jays score 21 runs in 2 days. Twins score 18. They split the pair. Herbeck pulled a hamstring. He could barely move after the game, but for now he's listed as day-to-day. A check of the other American League scores from yesterday. National League now. Giants and Phils. Kurt Schilling off to the rough 0-3 start. The ERA up near 5. But sharp last night. Strikes out Darren Lewis. Fans Robbie Thompson. He struck out 4 of the first 9 hitters. Perfect through 4. Then in the 5th, Matt Williams leads off. Forget about it. Opposite field blast. 1-zip Giants. It stands up in the 9th. Rod Beck off the DL. Milt Thompson bidding for the infield single. Benzinger fields. Beck covers nicely. Welcome back. The 3-game losing streak is over for the Giants, and they're still not hitting well. Williams, though, 7th homer in 13 games. 10 is a new Giant record for April, and Beck the 2nd save with that inning of work. As we show you the rest of the National League scores now from yesterday and last night. April showers yesterday ensured the Cubs a winless month at Wrigley, their first since the place was built in 1914. Another oddity, the Braves, perennial contenders, posted their first winning April since '83. And this potential embarrassment for 3 division proponents. The AL West leaders are all under 500. If you've been in hibernation since opening day, here's what else you've missed in baseball. Ray Lankford, the first batter in the first game of the season, homered. Maybe we should have known this would be the harbinger of prodigious clouds. Plentiful souvenirs, disconsolate hurlers, and stiff necks. While total hits in April were up 12% compared to April '93, home runs jumped a whopping 45%. Probable cause? Well, some said expansion had diluted the quality of Major League pitching, while others pointed to favorable winds. But the most prevalent theory supporting the long ball explosion?
Balls juice.
I don't really know what juiced is, but they're harder. I know the balls are harder.
Adding credence to the argument supporting a hopped-up baseball, the number of multi-home run games by individuals is up nearly twofold from last April. And Carl Tuffy Rhodes, Corey Snyder, and Tim Raines each had 3 homer games within the first 3 weeks of the season, compared to a total of 4 in all of '93.
The games have changed. I mean, you have bigger, faster, stronger guys.
Toronto's Joe Carter has proven his own point of late, riddling his April agenda with 31 RBI, a major league record for the month. Over in the National League, the Rockies' Andres Galarraga nearly kept pace, hammering out 30 ribbies of his own in the month. Other players who've excelled in offensive categories include Yankee Paul O'Neill, sporting a .448 batting average. Gary Sheffield and Matt Williams had the major's home run parade with 10 each, and the Royals' Vince Coleman with 15 pilfers in April. The longest hitting streak turned in so far was by Oakland Stan Javier, 17 games, stopped on April 26th. With this onslaught of offense, pitching's been on a downturn. '93 AL Cy Young winner Jack McDowell, whose record in past Aprils was 16 up, 4 down, suffered through the month with a 6.61 ERA. However, there were exceptions to the trend. On the 8th, Braves converted starter Kent Merker no-hit the Dodgers in his first career complete game. And the Homer Dome of all places was the venue on Wednesday, as Minnesota's Scott Erickson pitched a no-hitter against the Brewers.
Today was I didn't feel that good, actually, but not as good as I felt in other starts. I just kind of lucked out, and it worked out pretty good.
It was the first no-hitter ever pitched at the Metrodome, and the first by a twin since Dean Chance in 1967. Meanwhile, on a pace to break the single-season saves record is the Orioles' Lee Smith. 12 appearances, 12 saves, and no earned runs allowed in the month. Other action on the Hill became less palatable when Reggie Sanders took exception to a plunking by Pedro Martinez. Likewise, Benito Santiago and Kevin Rogers mound mayhem. And finally, for a hair-raising finish, we regale you with the best of April.
Smashed to the hole, and here's the throw. Whoa, Toledo went away.
Becker with a long run, and he makes the catch.
Oh, off of the glove of Tewksbury. He chases it down and throws him out. What a play!
And next on the show, the sudden forced retirement of Evander Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield is everything good about the discipline of professional prize fighting.
Just when the buzz about a Holyfield-Moore rematch was starting up and when Evander was dreaming of equaling Ali's record, came the stunning news that the former champ has a heart defect, not life-threatening, but career-ending.
First thing rung to my mind after they did give him the decision, I said, well, I'll come back and beat him. It'd be Ali and myself be the only 3-time heavyweight champion of the world until it came up to the point of, my heart condition. And I felt that I don't want to be in history that much that if I got to, risk my life, it's not worth it.
He fought 12 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world, essentially in heart failure. And I mean, that's, I don't know anyone else in the world that had the will that could have possibly done this.
My concerns when he found out how he would accept it, but he understands fate and life is better this way, that there's no more risk.
I feel for Evander. Evander's a very nice gentleman. I've always followed him in my career through the light heavyweight division on up to the heavyweight. It was a pleasure to fight him. It was the greatest opportunity in the world.
Evander Holyfield is everything good about the discipline of professional prize fighting. In my years involved in this, I have never met a more complete gentleman, a more complete warrior.
I have proven to everybody that, I was a champion, so I don't feel that I really owe anything else in boxing anymore. And now I just see myself leaving boxing. I hope that I left boxing in an up spirit that everybody will have something to be happy about.
Perhaps unfortunately, Holyfield only gained adequate respect after a fight in which he lost the first Bowe fight, and maybe now only adequately appreciated now that he's retiring. Coming up, athletes and guns. Their worries about security have led many to change their habits. And coming up, Jerry Glanville's meeting with the wall at Talladega in his first race at a super speedway. That's ahead. Former Falcons coach Jerry Glanville trading in the football for the racing helmet. Keep an eye yesterday at Talladega. The ARCA Food World 500 looked good early in the black car, then cut off by Glenn Brewer. Avoids the crash, but couldn't stay lucky all day. 7 laps to go. Glanville hits the wall. His car has seen better days. Glanville taken for a checkup. A little bit woozy. He knows how a blindsided quarterback feels right now. After our final break here, athletes who feel the need for personal protection even though they know it may send a poor message.
If I wasn't a high-profile athlete, I would never have anything like that in my home.
Sports Weekly is presented by Delta Airlines. You'll love the way we fly.
Brutal attacks on athletes from two of our more civilized sports, tennis and figure skating, have had an effect on many athletes' sense of security. The response, more and more of them are arming themselves, some legally, some illegally, as recent incidents have shown. Bob Lee has an in-depth report.
Horace Grant owns a handgun.
Yes, you know, after the incident with Nancy Kerrigan and Monica Seles, you're starting to really worry about your safety.
Grant's teammate, Scottie Pippen, owned a handgun until he was cited for carrying an unlicensed weapon. The charges were dropped.
You get people that really hate you for something that you may have the slightest idea about. And maybe I did something in a game that a guy lost millions of dollars, and now he wants to do something to me. So I just got to look out for Scottie.
If I wasn't a high-profile athlete, I would never have anything like that in my home.
But he does. He is hardly alone. Whether because of their celebrity, a fear of crime like other Americans, or because of habit, athletes are arming themselves. Professionals and collegians, in numbers impossible to determine. On a given day in this country, nearly 500,000 high school students carry guns to school. It cannot be surprising that athletes carry weapons. Consider these cases in just the last 7 months. Andre Rison of the Atlanta Falcons fired his weapon when confronted by 2 men. Charges were dismissed. The New Jersey Nets' Jason Williams fired his gun in the Meadowlands parking lot. Charges again dismissed. Vernon Maxwell of the Houston Rockets allegedly waved his gun at a motorist in a dispute. Only a faculty protest at Texas Pan American forced the withdrawal of this cover from the basketball press guide. The image of guns is basic to sports: shotgun formations, rifle arms, high-caliber offense. Last year, Shaquille O'Neal and 2 teammates coined these nicknames.
We are the official and only young guns. 9mm, Colt 45, Uzi.
This year, they play with Anthony Hardaway. Hardaway still has a bullet in his right foot, the result of a robbery while in college.
I'm the 45. I take care of your long range or short range. You know you're in trouble.
Hardaway doesn't own a gun, yet.
I'm waiting on my permit to come back. I have an issue for a permit. It should be back in like 2 months. Once I get my permit, I will own a gun.
Ironically, the same stardom that can lead an athlete to own a gun is marketed by teams establishing gun buyback programs. Players increasingly have a first-hand knowledge of the violence of firearms.
I was in a situation where my father had been shot 3 times, and it was in a situation where the gun wasn't licensed.
In many instances, these athletes may have come from backgrounds where this has been part and parcel of the repertoire.
Some of the athletes that you're getting now, you know, come from these streets where they had to come up with guns, you know, so it's almost second nature now. You know, a lot of the athletes are feeling, you know, I've had it all my life, you know, what's going to stop me now? Actually, you probably need more protection as an athlete because of the fact, you know, people know about you more, and people want to test you more. You have more people around you. So, you know, it's sometimes even harder being an athlete.
Someone suggesting that an athlete, because he's a role model, therefore give up certain rights that he is entitled to under the Constitution of the United States, the answer to that is no.
There's some players on our team that have guns, but they have permits to go with it. It's legal. I mean, nobody is carrying a gun illegally, and we're smart enough to do that. So, you know, the NBA has really talked to us about that and said if you're going to carry a gun, get a permit.
The NBA would not confirm if any such handgun counseling sessions have yet occurred. 3 members of the Miami Heat who legally own weapons declined to speak with SportsCenter. Mark Lemke, whose gun ownership was featured on the front page in Atlanta, also declined to elaborate. Athletes with handguns are largely reluctant to discuss the issue, living in the public eye as both stars and potential targets.
You know, if someone comes after me, if I got that gun with me, maybe I can prevent this person for hurting me and foremost hurting someone else. I mean, it gives you that security. I mean, it's sad to think that way, but, you know, I guess it's more or less common.
Plenty more coming up on SportsCenter. That's in a half hour, a conversation with David Robinson. But Dick Schaap and the sports reporters up next.